Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Culture Notes. I'm Harry ETA. I have a very special guest today. I'm such a huge fan of her work. I think that she's incredibly talented and incredibly brilliant. I have Nubia Monks. Hi Nubia, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you, to have you on. Getting into the holiday spirit, and you are presenting it with us with something very joyful. So I'm very excited to dive in to have that conversation about, uh, Black co-mingle nativity story. But before we go, dive right into that, for folks who might have just heard about you for the first time, can you just talk to us about who Nubia Monks is? Just a little brief intro for the folks at home.
Thank you. So I am Nubia Monks. I am an actor, I'm a playwright, and I am an educator here in the Twin Cities. I've been doing this thing called art since I was 14 years old. It saved my life. And so I've just been using this platform or this medium of theater as a gift to give back, to pay it forward. And so, yeah, I'm just an all around artist who wears many hats and loves it.
That is really cool. And I remember when I saw Primary Trust, I was at a talkback and you had talked about, how you could relate to the character a little bit more. And just naming you saying art saved your life. Can you just talk a little bit about, how art kind of saved you?
Yes. So I was 14. I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, not the nicest of neighborhoods, came up in poverty and was in and out of the foster care system. And so I had gotten to a point in my life at 14 years old where I was desperately looking for purpose, searching for something more to my life. I needed to know that I was meant for more than just trauma. And so I stumbled into an audition room. I didn't know nothing about theater. I didn't have a monologue prepared. I didn't have a headshot, but I saw so many people coming out of the room with pictures with their faces blown up on them and like long paragraphs. And I'm like, I don't have none of that. So I told the director, hey, I don't have a picture of myself or a paragraph prepared, but I'm just going to talk to you. Okay. And so I just ended up telling my story because that's all I knew. That's all I had. And I knew I wanted to do this thing that I saw the other students at my high school doing. They were in costumes. They were someone other than themselves. They were in a whole other reality. I wanted to escape my own reality, my own pain. And so I knew I needed to do theater. Did the audition, the director cast me, and it took me no time before I realized that theater is not where you go to escape your reality. It's where you go to face it. Theater is not how you escape the pain, it's where you face the pain. And so, theater, that's how it saved my life because I didn't know that I would confront so many things and be healed in so many ways just by doing theater. And so I said, oh, yeah, the world needs this. Let me be a vessel. Let me continue to do this so that it can save other people's lives like it saved mine. So,
That is beautiful to hear. That is beautiful to hear. And you came from Los Angeles, and now you're in the Twin Cities, very cold, very cold Twin Cities. How did that happen? How did you find yourself here?
second year of grad school, I did the Guthrie experience here. It was like a 6 week summer acting intensive for actors in MFA programs across the nation. And so that was my introduction to the Twin Cities. I'd never known anything about Minnesota. I didn't think any of us was here. I'm like, what am I gonna do in Minnesota? I didn't even know how to pronounce Minneapolis. I called it Minneapolis.
Like everybody does that.
And so I get here and then I'm blown away by the bursting of art and theater and culture. And I'm like, tax dollars goes into the art here? That's unheard of. You mean you can actually put on your own work? Unheard of. So I fell in love. Immediately fell in love. I knew I would be back. I didn't know when, I didn't know how. I just knew I'm gonna be back here. Fast forward to 2020, the pandemic. I applied for the Jerome Fellowship at the Playwright Center just on a whim. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a new writer. Who knows? Maybe they'll take a chance on me. And they did. They took a chance on me. And so I moved here in July of 2021 to be a Jerome Fellow. But the second I got here, theaters who remembered me from the Guthrie experience reached out, Marcella Lorca, Joe Hodge, Jack Ruler, like people were reaching out to get me in their shows. And so I ended up doing Comedy of Errors. Then I did A Raisin in the Sun at the Guthrie, and and I've just been here ever since because this place has a way of keeping you busy.
Yeah, and you've been busy. I've seen you. I saw you in The Raisin in the Sun. I saw you in oh my God, Color Purple. I saw you in what's the show? My Penumbra.
On in the wilderness.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Oh my God, that was a good one. That I saw you in before Primary Trust, the Nakarima Society. And then obviously you're working in Lesson in Love. That was at the Pillsbury House Theater, and then Primary Trust just recently. So your resume is speaking for yourself, and you're doing like really, really great work. And so, how would you describe this season that you're in currently, with all the work that you're putting out?
Would describe it as abundant. I mean, it's overwhelming in the best of ways. I have been busy. I remember tearing my Achilles during rehearsal for Sally and Tom at the Guthrie, and of course I
Yeah.
couldn't yeah, I couldn't continue with the production, and took me some it was a long journey, and it was the first time I'd ever sat down. In all
Mm,
of my years of doing this as an artist, I have never been forced to sit down and stop. And in my stopping, my prayer was, Lord, when I am fully recovered and healed, give me the burden of choice. Overwhelm me. Fill my cup with opportunities. And I am literally living inside of that answered prayer right now as we speak. I am busy, busy.
yes, yes, yes. And what you're busy doing right now is the Black Co-MingL Nativity.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that. What is that project all about?
Okay, so my dearest friend, Jabo, he is a part of a band called Co-MingL, a local band here in the Twin Cities. They are amazing. They do shows all over town. And we met at church at Kingdom Life, and he's telling me his vision, for this show that he wants to do, but he needs a writer. And I'm like, I write. And so we ended up collaborating. He ended up telling me like, what he wanted to get out of this production of the Black Co-MingL Nativity. He did not want it to be like your typical traditional Black nativity that's been happening all over the country for a long time. So I took that information. I ended up reading Langston Hughes's Black Nativity, and I was just like, this is beautiful, but I don't think I can do anything with this. And so I
Mhm.
ended up writing a completely different take on the nativity. I remember reading the scripture of the nativity. And what stood out to me was how little we talk about Joseph. But Joseph had such a significant role in this narrative of Jesus's birth. And so I'm like, that's what I want to tell. Because as a writer, I tend to write about the things that people don't talk about, the things that people miss. I tend to tell the other side of the story. I'm like, what was that had to have been hard for Joseph to stick around, to defy the law, to defy to his community, to like he was breaking all of the rules, but he
Yeah.
was and stuck around and embodied love and sacrifice in a way that Jesus does. But Jesus hadn't even been born yet. And Joseph was already reflecting God. And so I said, yeah, there's heat here. I want to talk that because I think that, in my opinion, we celebrate this time of the year to be reminded of what it means to be love in the midst of chaos, in the midst of things not going your way, in the midst of grief, in the midst of loss, in the midst of unexpected surprises, disappointments, whatever. We
Yeah.
celebrate this time of year so that we can carry on that love, that
Yeah.
unconditional, sacrificial love that everybody deserves, everybody needs. And what better time than now to be reminded of love? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think given the climate of our country and just everything that's going on, it's easy to succumb to the negativity, to succumb to the chaos. But this story of the nativity, this version of the nativity reminds us in a really grounded way of like how to love, how to be love, even when things are falling apart. And I think that Jesus shows us this every single day, that we wake up with breath in our bodies and a beating heart, even though we don't deserve it. He still wakes us up. And so it's just like this play serves as a thank you, right?
Yeah.
And it serves as a reminder to just love anyway, you know? And so that's what ended up coming out of this production. We did it last year for the first time at the Capri Theater. It was a beautiful turnout, and I wanted to do it again and again and again and again. And so here we are doing it again.
Yeah, and like you said, this is the second time that you're putting on this production. You've done it before. And also we're in a time in the world right now where there is a need for hope, there's a need for joy. And this season especially can feel heavy for folks who are isolated, who don't have, family, or who are dealing with one or two struggles, right? How will this production help meet them in a place where the joy of the story around the birth of Jesus can be reflected and can be felt as they experience this production?
I think you get a little bit of everything from this production. You come, you get to laugh, you get to crack, hopefully crack up laughing, because you get to just experience humans being humans on stage. You get to enjoy your favorite Christmas songs that can be nostalgic and remind you of better days. And then you also get to be provided with hopefully a fresh perspective about a story that's been told over and over and over in the same way. The hope is that you get to have a new reminder. The hope is that you are filled with healthy hope. I want to emphasize healthy hope, right? Because I believe that you can experience this version of the nativity and leave wanting to be generous where you maybe were not able to before, or find beauty in the grief, find beauty in the loss, and know that there is love even in pain, and know that there is love even in the things that hurt the most. I believe that time for Mary, for Joseph, had to have hurt. They were being rejected at every turn while carrying such divinity inside of her. Nobody had room for her. Meanwhile, Joseph is like, I have to stand by this woman who's carrying a child that isn't even mine. And so, like, I want this play to meet people where they are in their mess, to meet people where they are in their chaos. There's nothing cute about this production. There's nothing superficial about this production. It's just humans being humans. And if theater is to serve as a mirror, hope to have written something where that people can see themselves in every single one of these characters on stage, from the band members in the back to the actors in the front, to every song, to every character, you know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
I want them to feel more than just "'tis the season, Merry Christmas." No, 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 no. You can get that
Mhm.
somewhere else. But I want people to come here and be reminded of their own humanity. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so,
Yes. That is
yeah,
that is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And how can people find the show? How can they get tickets? What's the deal for that?
you can go on the Capri Theater's website, thecapritheater.org. You can also buy tickets from the link in my bio on Instagram _only Nubia. The Black Co-MingL Nativity also has their own Instagram page where you can also keep up with us, because this show will be happening in the years to come. And so, yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. I saw a quote where you said, "We're creating something truly special that reflects the richness of our cultures and our shared experiences." What does that mean? Especially as Black folks living in a city like in a place like the Twin Cities, you know?
Yes. I think that, you get to come and see Black folk talk about the goodness of God, sing about the goodness of God in a way that is bereft of condemnation, of judgment. You just get to come and be in community with other Black folks, from the page to the stage to the house, right, to the audience. Like, you get to see yourselves reflected in such a loving way. And who does not need that more than our people? Right? Who does not need to be represented in such a way that lifts up our community in love, that challenges our usual norms? I think the play is a commentary on the Black nativity, or whatever. And you get to see these Black people kind of go at it as it relates to this story and then come to the same conclusion of love. And I want that for my people. I want us to be able to disagree and come back to the same conclusion that is love. I want my people, our people to be in community and let love be the point and let love be at the center, right? I think there's a lot of division amongst us. I think there's a lot of just grief, unresolved grief amongst us. But I want this play, I want our people to come to this play and really come together and have a shared experience of love.
And with this production, you're working with Co-MingL. How has that experience been for you so far? This is your second year working with them. What's the vibe like over there?
Oh my goodness. First of all, it's such a good time getting musicians to be actors.
That's real. That's
You
real.
know what I'm saying? Like, I think Jabot has done a theatrical production or whatever, but for the most part, these are musicians. And so I remember last year, what it took to get them in the mind frame of like actor and musician, but like we're also acting and we're also saying lines and this is blocking and like you go upstage, downstage, center, so I had to like do some teaching, but it was so great because they were so open or whatever and open to this new world and the way our worlds intersect, right? I do sing. I am a singer, but I'm not a musician. I'm an actor first, and so when our worlds intersected so beautifully in the culmination of our process, which was the production, it was so satisfying because
Yeah.
I remembered the journey. So, and they're just they're a good time. They feel like family. And before we even did this show, I was going to all of their concerts and just, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Co-MingL. So it was an honor to join them in this way and for our worlds to beautifully collide like this. And they're doing so well. They're
That
doing
is
so
pretty
good.
cool. And is this going to be like a holiday tradition in the Twin Cities? Do you think that this can be like our new, like, okay, this December, we're going to do blah, 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 and Black Co-MingL Nativity? Is that like the vibe that we're trying to go for?
That is the vibe, okay? Like I want us to we're creating a legacy. We're creating something for everybody. It's intergenerational. We're creating something that's on the ground. It's not just somewhere you can come and experience music, right? It's more than just music. You get the best of all the worlds. You get drama, you get acting, you get a whole concert, you get it all, and you get story. And so yeah, I want this to make its mark in the Twin Cities and be Twin Cities is the home for the Black Co-MingL native.
Yeah, okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool. That's right. And so we've talked about how to get tickets. We've talked about what folks can do. But for Nubia Monks, what can we expect from you personally? What is new? What's coming up? What should your supporters be excited about right now?
Oh, that's a great question. So the Black Co-MingL Nativity above all else, December 19th and 20th. And I am also currently working with Mixed Blood for their equitable dinners. I wrote a solo piece on grief, on a Black mother grieving the loss of her son. And I will be performing in that all throughout December and into January. You can get information about that on Mixed Blood's website. And then I go away for a little bit to do some work out of town, but then I'll be back. I'll be back for Joe Turner's Come and Gone at Penumbra.
Penumbra. Okay.
And so,
Yeah, excited about that.
yes.
Okay, cool. So, folks, you heard it here. Black Co-MingL Nativity Evening Concerts happening. There are two shows. The first one is Friday, December 19th at 7 p.m. The second show is Saturday, December 20th at 3 p.m. Right? And tickets are available now. You can get them at the Capri Theater's website or Nubia's Instagram _only Nubia. The link is in her bio. Thank you so much, Nubia, for coming on. I really love your work. I think your work is very spectacular. I'm excited to see the show and to experience a new version of the Nativity story as well. And yeah, and hopefully we'll catch you on Ode Jura next year in the second season. Yeah, thank you, Nubia.
Thank you so much.